Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Through here, today I have a fun video for you guys. And we are going to do snowshoeing for beginners. So out here, I brought out my snowshoes. It's deep in the winter time, and if you've never snowshoe, hopefully after this video, you'll understand what it is and maybe get yourself some snowshoes or figure out what people do when it's winter time here to keep busy. So these are what snowshoes are. Essentially, it looks like this underneath with some good grips. This almost looks like crampons, and I'll show that. It has some axis here. It tilts like this, and on the right side as such it tilts like this. So just to show you guys, this axis here is what moves. So this is what moves. The entire snowshoe doesn't move. And if I flip this over, this has some really good bed to it that will grip the snow, and there's this one underneath that grips the snow. There are several types of snowshoes you can get, but these were some good ones I got from, well, I don't know if they're really good, but I got this from I believe it was some Dick's Sporting Goods, but you can get them from any sporting goods nearby. Now, in front of me is some snow. I wouldn't say this is the deepest snow you'll find, but it's still a good amount of snow. There are two choices. So I have my snow boot with me here. I could walk if you're going for a hike, but guess what? My feet just sinks. And it's fine if you're not going for longer distances, but if you're going for a long distance, you're not gonna wanna be doing that. This is where the snowshoe comes in. So for me, I like to do the winter hikes usually, and having a snowshoe helps quite a bit. So I'll show you how I get in, and then we're gonna go for a quick hike, and then I might give some more commentaries as we go through this. So to get started, it's simple. Put it down, and the right side is outside in my case, so this will be the right side. If you flip this around, sometimes I've done this as such, it doesn't really matter, but this will be the right side. So you want to have this strap to the outside, and different designs can do it differently. So for me, I just simply put in my shoe. So you want to have good winter boots obviously for this, and get this strap to the back. My gloves are all falling down. Once you have that, I don't change this, and then you can now use this grip here to fasten it, and that is it. We got one snowshoe down. We can do the next one. So for this one, I'll get my gloves afterwards. You put it down. If you need to loosen this a little bit, the straps here, you can, but mine is always fine. It's a little bit of a struggle sometimes, especially because my other feet is all tied up. Get this back there, and in this case I have to get this side strap taken care of. So let me do that. And when your hands are cold, it's not as easy to do as it looks. Okay, and now I'm just gonna pull on this to fasten it. So now we've got our snowshoes on. That's essentially it. So why would you need the snowshoes? Let me show you why this becomes relevant. So if I go on the thick snow here, you can see now with each step I have a more surface area to work with, so you don't sink into the snow as much. Okay, so without this, I'll be sinking into the snow, but because the surface area is pretty big, you don't sink into the snow much. Now, what is the way you walk with snowshoes is pretty, I would say, funny. Funny is the best description I've used for this. It's not a natural way of walking, so you're gonna wanna just stand like you're standing with your 2 feet, and take this up. You can see when I take up my feet normally, the snowshoe doesn't come off flat like your shoe, right? It tilts on the axis and almost like falls back, and you put that down. Let me take this one so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Okay, so if I take up this one, you see my feet is literally horizontal to the ground, but the snowshoe is tilted. So it always will be tilted that way, like you're dragging it on the ground. And that's essentially what it is. You have that set up. It's just a matter of getting used to it walking on the snow. So in most cases, if you don't really, let's see if I can show you guys. If you don't have a lot of snow on the ground, I wouldn't recommend snowshoes. If the snow is pretty compact, like it is right here on this trail, then snowshoe might be an overkill. But if the snow is deep, and I'll go here on my right so you can see deeper snow, then obviously you're gonna want to need a snowshoe, or if it's slippery too, because you have those kind of crampons or the teeth underneath. The snowshoes definitely help with that. So I know this trail real well. It's a good trail in the summertime. Down is a St. Croix River. I'll see if we can make it down, but it wouldn't be fun if I'm just using this trail. The question would be, well, why do you need a snowshoe if you can just walk on this trail? So we're gonna have to go a little bit off trail here just to show you guys. Oh, all right, now we're talking. So going off trail, there's pretty good snow here, and it's not compacted, and the snowshoe comes in handy. So if you're gonna go on hikes and you know there will be snow on the ground, that is when you should definitely think about getting a snowshoe. Okay, so this environment we're going to right now is pretty steep. I think the video might not do it justice, but before we go down, so I'm on a steep incline, I want to show you guys my back. So this is the path left by the snowshoe. It's huge. It's like what do they call it? Sasquatch? Yeah, it's like a Sasquatch going here just because of the bigger footprint. Okay, looks like a giant walking because the snowshoes are pretty big. So we're gonna see, just walk around. I want to go off trail just so we can have some different perspective, and you guys can see how relevant snowshoes are. It's a good, fun winter activity. There's just a certain level of beauty in the winter time, going off trail and seeing the snow covered branches and trees and quiet. It's a different perspective, which I highly encourage if you can experience it. It's one of my favorite ways of spending the winter. So just take it slow. You don't want to rush. You're not overdoing it. The goal is not to cover distance. The goal is just to experience what's happening. At least that's how I approach snowshoeing most of the times. I know there's no path right here, but you can always make your own path. Ooh, okay. That's a good deer bedding over there. You can see the trail of the deer, and that tells me the deer was bedding over there, which makes sense. It's a good embankment with a good view up and down. So if there's something coming from the bottom, they can run up the hill. If there's something coming from the top of the hill, the deer can just run down. So yeah, I spend a lot of time in the woods during the deer season hunting, so you tend to have a good sense of what to look for. Now, the history of snowshoeing has been a long one. People have been snowshoeing for such a long time. The indigenous Native Americans did it. Of course, they were not using the technologies we use today. They were all they might just make planks or pieces of wood or backs of tree and use it as snowshoeing. I know the Scandinavians or the people in the Arctic all did snowshoeing, and it did evolve to the snowshoeing we have today as a sport. Now, one mistake that people make if you're gonna go out snowshoeing in the winter time is overdressing. So you can see I do have my winter attire, but you gotta be cautious with that because snowshoeing is a sport. It's like you're exercising, and this is really nice. It's like you're going out for a run or exercising. So when you leave the house, you're probably gonna be very cold or chilly. But as you're walking, exerting energy, it gets colder and colder. Well, it gets warmer and warmer, I should say. And if you overdress, you start sweating. Now you're finding yourself taking things off, and you might not want to do that. So dress accordingly, dress in layers, understand the terrain, understand the temperature of where you're hiking or where you're snowshoeing, and then plan accordingly. So don't overdress in a way that once you start getting the heat or feeling hot, you cannot take stuff off. So that's the big number one mistake. And number two is just managing your stride. Snowshoeing is a little bit different, as you guys can see, from your normal walk. When you walk, you might have your gait is usual. You might have your stride. Well, some people have longer strides, some people have shorter strides. Whatever works for you. I can assure you, once you get on snowshoes, those strides might change a little bit, but don't change it too much. I tend to have longer strides when I'm with snowshoe, just because it's a different form factor. So you just have to get longer strides for one side of the snowshoe to get past the other one and actually make good distance. And that might be uncomfortable for some folks, but I think after some doing, you can get used to it. So this is a nice area. Now, the snow is not too deep, maybe 10 inches or so, and still soft. But without snowshoes, it would be a lot more harder to walk on this. So pay attention to your stride as you go walking with snowshoes. I can tell somebody else came by here with their own snowshoe. You can see the size of it. So, and then down there's the St. Croix River. Just a beautiful view, I would say. And then maybe I'll show you guys on the opposite side is a ski area. It's a nice ski area. Okay, and then here, this looks like, what is this? Maybe bedding too for deer. Yeah. Yes, it must be a deer bedding. All right, so we've talked about your, oops, this is definitely deer. Look at the scat. It's a deer scat here. So pretty active. And then this is a big one. A big pile of deer scat. Pretty fresh. It's essentially a deer poop. And this tells you that this is an active deer area. If you are a hunter and you can hunt this area, and then you'll be looking around for that. Okay. Now, I am doing my own snowshoeing today. As a beginner, well, I'm not a beginner because I've been doing this for many years, but in case you're a beginner, some people do use poles. So you can get like the poles that skiers would use and use that for snowshoeing. I don't think it's necessary for me. I've never used it, but some people do use that depending on your skill level. You might need that, but I do have those poles for skiing. I just don't use it for snowshoeing. Now I'm going down this embankment. It's pretty steep. If I didn't have the snowshoes on, I'll be just essentially sliding downhill. And I don't think the video usually does this justice on how steep this is. But quiet and beautiful. Let's just be quiet for a second and take it in. That was nice. Now, okay, let's make our way up so I can show you guys the ski area, share some more lessons, and then walk our way back. Are there any trail etiquettes when snowshoeing or hiking with a snowshoe? Not really that I know of. I would say just like any other etiquette when on the trail, you know, yield for other people, be respectful, don't make a mess, leave no trace behind, plan, be safe, let people know where you're going, understand your limits, understand your capacity. Don't bite more than you can chew. Meaning, if I normally hike 3 miles in good weather, I'm not gonna try to hike 10 miles in a snowshoe, because snowshoes is a little bit harder than just regular hiking. So know your capacity, know your limit, and plan accordingly. I usually do about a third of what I normally do when I'm in snowshoes. So if I normally do 3 miles, I'll do a mile with snowshoes. If I normally do 5 miles, I'll do maybe a mile and a half with snowshoes. So just know your limits and stay below your limits will be a good tip for snowshoes. Now, this is a beautiful view right here. That's the St. Croix. It joins the Mississippi River just down to my south. And you got the bluffs, the Afton Bluffs, just beautiful. There's something about winter that is both scary and beautiful at the same time. Scary in the sense that you gotta be prepared, you gotta stay warm, you gotta know what you're doing. Otherwise, the cold is not, the cold can be deadly, obviously. But at the same time, it's just a sereneness, a beauty that it's its own. It's not spring, it's not summer, it's not fall, it's winter. It's its own beauty. So I tend to appreciate that just for its own self. And then right across the river, obviously, is Wisconsin. So this is Minnesota on my east, on my west, and then to the east is the state of Wisconsin. So this is the border. St. Croix separates Minnesota and Wisconsin, for those who don't know. All right, let's make our way back and share some more tips. Now, one big thing we've talked about with snowshoeing is etiquette. So the same trail etiquette that you have when hiking would apply for snowshoeing. And then I highly recommend a navigation class. And this might be something I talk about in one of my videos, where if you're gonna spend time outdoors, I would encourage understanding how to use a map, use a compass, how to maintain direction with or without a map and a compass. Those are very important skills, and it's true whether you're hiking, whether you're snowshoeing, or doing anything in the outdoors. Highly recommended. So in my area, the ROEI Corporation, they do offer those classes. I think most of the time they do it in the spring. They might do it other times of the year, but I've done the ones in the spring. So if you're gonna be going out snowshoeing and doing all of that, I would say look into that class. I don't recall if it's free or if I had to pay, but it was a very good class, and it's a good refresher, even if you've done it in the past, on how to navigate, how to read the topological area, how to read the compass, how to take compass directions and translate it to the map. There are a lot of things in the how to navigate without a compass even, because that's also a skill. What to do if you're lost. And then there's also a little bit of a survivor lessons with those as well. So a good one. So if you're going to be snowshoeing, keep that in mind. Take those classes if you can, and then stay under your limit. Now, a big thing too with snowshoeing is I didn't get the chance to go down on the river back there that I showed. But if I did that, sometimes I might snowshoe over the lake or over the river, which is a little bit more tricky than the lake. because the lake is standing water, so it freezes quickly. A river is flowing water, doesn't freeze quickly as much. You have to understand the ice depth. Is it safe to go over that lake? Is the lake thick enough? Is the water thick enough? So just because a snowshoeing has a bigger surface area than just walking, you still have to take caution around just safety nets around lakes and such, or water in general. But walking on ice or walking on the lake or frozen water with your snowshoes could be amazing. Could be amazing, but just keep that in mind. Listen to the snow when you're doing it, and do your research first. Know the thickness. I don't know if it's 12 inches or 14 inches. That might be safe to walk on. So just know, look at your area, follow regulations, know what is required of you, and then you can safely snowshoe on frozen bodies of water. Now, one of the things with snowshoeing is, and I wish I could show you guys, I'm looking up now, sometimes you just see squirrels, rabbits. Oh, there you go. I think those are cranes. They're flying across. They might be coming this way actually. What snowshoeing gives you, this experience of just slowing down and taking it in and experiencing wildlife from a different perspective, because their habits in the wintertime is different from their habits in the fall or in the spring or in the summer. So if you're into wildlife viewing, wildlife photography, or just soaking it all in, snowshoeing gives you that experience. So sometimes I would just see squirrels jumping around, but I think it might be too cold for today for them. For the squirrels, so looking up, not seeing any stuff. And I haven't seen any rabbits, but sometimes you see that. So one of the big joys of doing snowshoeing is experiencing animals and the wildlife. Now, snowshoeing too could get very exhausting in terms of needing hydration. It sounds like snow is just made of water. So if you're going out in the summertime, you know that you should take a bottle of water with you. In the spring, people maybe remember to take bottles of water with them. In the winter, you might almost forget that because the water is going to freeze, but you need water. So I'm just doing a short. I wouldn't call this a hike anyways. So my car is just about a few feet from me. But if I was doing a real hiking or a real snowshoeing, you want to make sure you bring a bottle of water with you. Absolutely necessary. Because you lose heat and lose water just as much as you do when hiking in the fall or in the summertime. So bring water, even if you're just snowshoeing easily. I would highly recommend that. And then pause like I'm doing. Don't rush it. Like if you notice, I walk for a little bit, I stop, I look up, I look around, I stay quiet, I talk. That's what it is. Just stop, pause, don't rush it, take it all in, breathe. It's not a marathon. Well, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's not how fast you go, it's how far you want to go. So you can see the sun is setting and there is that pinkish, light crimson hue in the background of the sun, almost like a portrait painted by an artist with the wind blowing. And that's what snowshoeing gives you, this winter view. Let's take a picture of that actually. I like that. That was nice. So we've talked about water, and bring water, bring snacks if you're going to be hungry. Trail mix are always necessary for snowshoeing. So always a plus. Don't ignore that. So just consider it like you're hiking. Whatever you bring when hiking to stay safe, you're gonna have to bring that when snowshoeing to stay safe as well. And don't hesitate. Like in my case, I'm going off the beaten path. Not because I am losing my mind, but just because I know exactly where I am. And that goes back to your navigation. Know where you are, know your skill level, and then if you want to go off the trail, it's easier on snow because I mean the trail is all the same. You can also see things that you normally would not see in the winter time, in the summertime, but be cautious about habitat because trails are there for a reason. So you don't want to go on critical habitat and destroy that by going off trail. But just know your area and then do what makes sense or what is acceptable. And then one of the things I'll encourage, if after watching this video you decide that you're gonna go out and get yourself a snowshoe, is go out, get it, find a park near you, visit that park, and then challenge yourself to spot 5 things when you go out snowshoeing. What kind of trees do you see? Do you see more of trees, oak trees? Do you see more of aspen, birch, juniper? Can you identify them? What kind of tree is this? Okay, not that I know by just looking, but that's some of the challenge I gave myself, being out in the woods, to figure and learn those things out. It's a learning experience as much as it is anything. So challenge yourself to do that. Can you identify what tree this is? There's a good YouTube channel of one guy that just goes around showing how to identify trees. I don't think I'm very good at it yet, but it's on my list. My guess is that this is probably an oak tree. That would be my guess, but I might be wrong. Why do I think it's an oak tree? I don't know why, because I don't see any acorns around. But that's one of my to-dos. I have a good book on that. I'm gonna spend some time just learning about trees. Learn about trees in your area. Your habitat is probably very different than mine, so just learn about that. And not just trees, the grasses, the shrubs, the animals, like the birds that were flying. I showed over there. What kind of birds were those? Were it cranes? Were it definitely not ducks or geese or anything like that? But that's something that you can know, you can learn when you go out and snowshoe. Learn the animals around you, learn the habitat. And then I'll show you guys this last one here. So across is the Afton ski area. So there are folks over there skiing. And to do it, you gotta pay. And it's fun. I do ski a lot. But doing what I'm doing here is $0. I don't have to pay. This is a state park. So have a mix of both. Some people don't ski because they don't have skis, they can afford it, they can pay for it. But with snowshoes for maybe $100 or $50, I don't remember how much I bought this at the time, you can get some snowshoes and get yourself exercise, get yourself out in nature, which is always, I mean, if you're watching my channel now, you know that get out of the couch, get in nature and experience world. So definitely something. So just to kind of summarize what we've talked about here, snowshoeing for beginners, it's a very accessible sport. You're just walking, except you're walking with something that helps you not sink in snow. That's all snowshoeing is. You can use the same trails you would use when hiking. You're not reinventing the wheel. So the same trails, the same parks, the same place you visit, just go out there. There's probably gonna be snow on the ground. Pull out your snowshoes and you can have a great time. All the rules, all the etiquette, all the habits that you would apply when hiking, you're going to be doing the same thing with snowshoeing. Telling people where you're going, having good navigational skills, following safety practices, staying within your limits, not pushing yourself more than you can handle. All those things. Bring food, bring water, stay hydrated, get your safety checklist. If you know you're going past your limits, just turn back. Don't push it. Those things are always there. And the more you do it, the more you build confidence, and then the more you're gonna enjoy it. And the last thing I'll leave you with, just to summarize what we just spoke about, is use it as a learning experience. Sometimes I snowshoe not just for the sake of snowshoeing, but because I get my exercise out of it. I get my nature. I get to breathe fresh air like this, which is a huge, huge privilege. And more importantly, I use it as a way to learn. That I was asking, what kind of tree is that? What kind of bird is that? What kind of animal is that? Which river is that? What hill is that? What is that hill called? Of course, I know what a hill is. That's the Afton ski area. But if I didn't know and I was hiking in a new area, I might learn about something. So when you go out, say, okay, by the time I come back, I'm going to learn 5 new things, 5 new trees, 5 new things, new grass, new birds, new animals I didn't know. And then by the time you come back, you've learned something new. And that's essentially what snowshoeing is. So hopefully this gives you some ideas. And then when you're done, how do you take it off? I'll show you guys how to take it off. Just so that I don't show you how to put it on and then not take it off. Because taking off your snowshoe is a big part of it. So I'm walking now. Just find an area, assuming you're almost done. There are cars over here, so I'll try to get closer to the cars so that I don't take off my snowshoe while still walking. So you can see the trail I'm leaving behind me. This park is very popular for snowshoeing. So quite a bit of folks do come here and snowshoe. Oh, I should show you guys this one. You can see the trail here that goes, some nice trails. But these trails are for, some of these trails are for cross-country skiing, which I don't do cross-country ski yet. That might be something I get into at some point. I do downhill skiing, just not cross-country skiing. And then there's sledding too, but I think if you want to sled, you might want to go over to the Afton area. And but a nice area for the winter time. So when you're done, like we did before, just simply come in with this one. So before I was pulling on this to tug it in. Now I'm gonna pull on the white one, or you can remove this, and then just pull on that and push ahead. Move the strap in the back, just like that, and we are off with the one snowshoe. So to repeat, simply in this one, remove this guy. There's this strap here, open that up, and then pull this white rope to the back. It loosens it up. Now I can push my foot to the front. The reason why I do that is it makes this latch back here loose, and I can just simply pull it back, and voila, there it is. Beginners with some commentaries. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of this channel through extras. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, share this with somebody, encourage them to go out on snowshoes. I'll see you on the next video.